Allied Health Week, and this is going to be the session that we are going over the pharmacy technician. Let's get started and see what do we have. If I can change the slides. As I mentioned, this is pharmacy technician program sessions. I'm going to go over the profession and the program itself and the outcome of the program as well. As I mentioned, my name is Dr. Shaheen Kanani. I am a medical doctor. I'm certified pharmacy technicians. I'm registered pharmacy technicians. I'm a professor at Seminole State College, and I'm running the pharmacy technician program. In this short introduction of the program, I'm going to go over the pharmacy technician profession, Seminole State's pharmacy technician program, and how you can join the program, or if you already joined the program, what are you expecting from the program, hopefully when you finished. First, I'm going to start with introducing myself. How did I get into the healthcare field? After I graduated from high school, I went to the university. I went to the medical school. I finished my education. And as soon as I finished the first part of my education, I continued my residency in infectious diseases, and I got my infectious diseases specialist degree as well. And right after that, without any gaps, I started working in a hospital. I had my own private practice, and also I started teaching at the medical school as well. When I was practicing, I was the head of the infectious diseases unit. I was the assistant to a province health secretary. And for the non-clinical part as I mentioned, I started teaching at medical school. Sometimes I say, God knows how many different topics I taught. I taught epidemiology, infectious diseases, microbiology, AMP, and go on and go on. And back then, my main students were medical students and nursing students. Then in 2010, I had the privilege to join Seminole State College as an adjunct professor. And since 2015, I'm running the program, the pharmacy technician program at Seminole State College. Let's go back to the pharmacy technician profession after that short introduction. When I try to describe the pharmacy technician program and pharmacy technician profession to students or audience when I have any type of information session, I describe it as a vital member of the healthcare team. Sometimes students, they don't see it, but really you are. Without the help of the technician, pharmacist is not getting anywhere and cannot do whatever she or he's supposed to do. And the main reason behind that vital member is, as we all know and see, the nation's population ages, and all of the medical community, they will increasingly rely on pharmaceutical professionals to support the demand for long-term health care and the healthy life for elderly patients, not only for elderly patients, but also for everybody, because all of us in our life, somehow we are dealing with the medications. And the pharmacy technicians work collaboratively with and under direct supervision of the licensed pharmacist. In every state in United States, the pharmacy technician's profession is regulated, except in 1 or 2 states that, thanks God, Florida is not included. That means is a profession that is regulated by the State Board of Pharmacy and has a lot of regulations regarding the scope of practice of the pharmacy technicians. Pharmacy technicians apply precious technical skills to maintain supplies and records. They assist with the medication preparation mainly, storage, dispensing, and disposal of the expired medications or those medications that needs to be expired in retail and hospital pharmacy. Employment in this field is expected to grow by 21% Since 2000, if I go back to 2010, from 2010 to 2018, the growth rate for the pharmacy technician employment was 18%, and suddenly increased by 21%. And the expectation is the same as other allied health professions, is growing so fast and faster than usual because, as I mentioned, because of the age, because of knowing more medications, improvement in medications and pharmaceutical care. One of the qualifications that pharmacy, not one, there are some qualifications that every healthcare professional must have, and pharmacy technician included. And there are some specific areas that pharmacy technician must know and must have a great qualification in those areas. Caring for patients is definite, no matter where do you ended up, no matter your background, you're joining the healthcare professional, and the main goal is the patient safety. That means caring for patients is number one qualification for all of the healthcare professional. Compassion about your job. You have to love your job. That I promise you, by the time that you graduate and start working as a technician, you're going to love your job. You have to be detail oriented, because gradually when you join the program, or in this program, gradually you see there are so many details regarding the profession, regarding the job of the technicians, and especially regarding the pharmaceutical medications. The good communication skill is another area that every healthcare professional must have a great knowledge on that, and must practice it verbally and non-verbally, and also in written. That's another skill that pharmacy technician has to be good at to be able to successful. Integrity is another qualification. Math skill, in pharmacy we call it dosage calculation, and you're going to see you have to have that math skill to be able to do your job in different levels. Some organizational skills, such as understanding policy and procedures. For example, when we do compounding, we remind students is exactly the same as, not exactly, is kind of look like a cooking. You have to follow the steps. And in our profession, we call it policy and procedures. You have to be good at knowing the state's law, and not only to protect yourself, but also protect your patient as well. You have to have a knowledge of pharmacology to be able to prevent medication error and provide pharmaceutical care for your patient. Knowing the scope of practice of pharmacy technicians, and because we are moving toward the technology and collaboration between all of the allied health and medical personnel, you have to have a knowledge of the electronic health records as well. These are some of the qualifications. And then when we compare what can you do after you graduate, we compare it as a clinical job versus administrative job. Pharmacy technicians work closely with clinical part of their position, working closely with the physicians, nurses, other healthcare professional in hospital and retail. And definitely they work with the pharmacist in both community and hospital pharmacy. And there are different level of collaboration and communication between the technician and pharmacist, and outside of these two areas, between the technicians, nurses, physicians, because sometimes when you're in a retail, you have to pick up the phone, call the doctor's office for clarification of something. You have to talk to the physicians, because that's why in that clinical, you're gonna bring all of the knowledge that you learned to the table and be able to take care of the patient. And some non-clinical or administrative jobs that you can end up with is kind of look like a data entry, customer service representative, or pharmaceutical representative. You work for the manufacturer company and you can be representative of the new medication that comes out. The career path for pharmacy technician, after you finish the program, you can end up as a pharmacy technician at retail pharmacy, which is one of the fastest growing area that we have. Become a pharmacy technician at the specialty pharmacy, another fast growing area, such as you're dealing with the specific type of compounding for chronic diseases, asthma, HIV, chronic hepatitis, or you ended up becoming a pharmacy technician at the mail order pharmacy. This is another, actually the mail order pharmacy is the fastest growing field under umbrella of pharmacy. You can become a compounding pharmacy technician, work for those specialty pharmacy that they compound. They specialize in compounding. Pharmacy benefit manager, reconciliation pharmacy technicians, or sometimes we call it medication history technician. You come out of the pharmacy and you work at emergency room side by side of nurses in triage, and you interview the patient, take the medication history, and provide those information to the physician at the emergency room or to the pharmacist. Controlled substances drug diversion pharmacy technician, hazardous drug compounding pharmacy technicians, pharmacy technician information system specialist, or sterile preparation pharmacy technicians. These are some of the paths that you can pursue after you graduate from the program. The area that you can work for is retail. As I said, is majority of students, they ended up with the retail, hospital, nursing home, long-term care facilities, home health care facilities, and you can ended up with the home infusion areas, research company, governmental agencies, insurance companies, medical equipment companies, and other healthcare facilities. These are some of the areas that you can start working for. The overview of the program. The program prepare graduates with demonstrated competency in the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective learning domains of the pharmacy technician practice. Offers applied technical diploma approved by the State Board of Pharmacy of Florida. I have some of my graduates that sadly, they left the state, they went to another state, and none of them had any issue with other state because the program approved by the State Board of Pharmacy of Florida. And as I said, I have so far, as I remember, 3 of my students, they left the state after they graduate, they went to other state. The only thing that some of them, because they wanted to continue their education, I had to provide them with some documentation about what was the level of their education, and that's it. And they could continue. They didn't have any issue. It's not like those unapproved programs that pops up here and there at Seminole State. All of the programs are approved by governmental agencies. That's why it's kind of secure for the students. The step to admission, you apply at Seminole State online for now, or hopefully soon we come back to the campus. You can do it on campus, and you choose the correct way. You might be transferred, you might be first time in college students, and you apply for the pharmacy technician program, apply technical degree, and you submit your transcript. That's the advice that I have for every student who joined the program. I tell them because, program later on, you're going to see we have some general courses that you take, and you might already took them somewhere else. Bring your transcript from high school, from college, from universities, and bring your IB score, AP score, CLEP score, and all of them. Or sometimes for some of the students, because some of the high school students, they join us, your SAT or ACT score, bring them to the admission. That way they can review it and they can help you with the registration. After this brief, I'm going to go back to the details about the program. And our pharmacy technician program is a kind of mixture of lecture and lab. The number of lab courses increases close to the end because we have a lot of hand-on practice for our students. We have practicum, which is your fourth semester. You take all of those knowledge that you learned in a classroom, you take it with you and you start experience it in a real life area. You go to the clinical site and you work directly with the pharmacist, with the technicians, and I have diverse sites that I send students to, such as Walgreens, CVS, independent pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, compounding pharmacy, specialty pharmacy, and research company. These are the areas that we have affiliation with, and we send students there. And you have to complete 40 credit hours, is 4 semesters. I say roughly is 1 year. And we accept the new students every spring and every fall. And in summer, we don't have any new registration at all. This is the layout of the program. We call it at Seminole State, we call it educational pathway or educational plan. We map what courses you have to take, how do you take it, when do you have to take it, and I encourage all of the students to follow this. The first semester, as you can see, we have 4 semesters. The first year in your freshman year, mainly the first semester and second semester, you're taking some general courses, some core courses. The core courses starts with PTN and some general courses. And after you're done with those, in your third semester and fourth semester, the number of labs increases. And as I mentioned, in your fourth semester, in PTN 1945C, you go to the clinical site and take that experience with you after you graduate. And majority of our students, they find a job in their clinical site. And the cost of the program, our program, the same as every other program, follow the same tuition cost, the scheduled as the college. And there are some additional costs, such as because we are part of the healthcare programs, we have mandatory uniform for our students when they come back to the campus or when they have a face-to-face classes. There are some lab fees, books, supplies, background check, fingerprint, drug test, immunization, as well as certification and graduation fees. All of them together, the cost of the program is around $6,000 max. And another thing that I constantly remind the students is, because we are part of the allied health and we send our students to the clinical site, in our program, the clinical agencies, they mandate all of our students, they have to have a criminal background check and fingerprint check. Information obtained from the background check, if that's a red flag, if there is any issue with that, resulting from students' inability to perform in a clinical activities in the healthcare facility, and they might be disqualified for the students to enter the clinical site and finishing the program. That's why I encourage all of my freshman students to talk to me, no matter I teach the classes for the freshman students or not. And I constantly tell them to follow the rule and tell me if there is any story that you want to talk to me. Because if I know ahead, I can help you, hopefully, to solve the issue before you ended up with not qualifying to enter the clinical site. And there is a fee that you have to pay, as I mentioned in previous slide, that is included, that you have to pay for the background check and fingerprint. And when you enter the program, that's your responsibility to inform the program manager any type of, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it happens, any type of arrest, and regardless of adjudication that happens after you enter the program. That way we can do some proactive activities to be able to, hopefully, to solve it before you get to the fourth semester and go to the clinical site. Because if you go back to the State Board of Pharmacy of Florida, look at the website, one of the qualifications for every pharmacy technician to be able to register by the state, that's the only way that you can practice as a technician in the state of Florida, is you do not have any criminal background. That's why we try to inform the students that this is mandatory, not only for the clinical side, but for later on to be able to register by the state. Sorry, let me. And then graduate students, after you graduate, you are eligible to apply for national certification exam, because start beginning of 2020, the national certification exam, you have to be qualified for that, which means you have to show the agency that you finished the training program, which our program is also approved, and you're gonna take the national exam, and you're qualified for registering by the State Board of Pharmacy. Employment rate for our graduate students for now is 82%, but I'm sure it's going to increases due to the changes that we have, due to the vaccination, and all of the changes that we might have in healthcare is going to increases. And this 82% after student they graduate, I follow up with them for the first 6 months, and that 82% comes from the first 6 months after graduation of the students. And then these are some of the pictures from my previous students. As you can see, our students, they do a lot of compounding, which is changing the medication from one form to another form, changing the medication, the different strength, and all of those things. We call it compounding in your third semester. You're going to one of the courses heavily and purely is covering the compounding. In your fourth semester, you're going to continue it. In our program, in our classroom, we have a mock pharmacy. We have a small pharmacy that we practice in our third semester, how to work as a technician, and we prepare you for your clinical rotation in your fourth semester. We help our students to prepare their resume, their professional resume, and we have a mock interview. We practice the mock interview with students, actually in this picture. Those are two of the program pharmacy store managers of one of the facilities that I send students there. They come once a semester and they sit down with the students and they have a mock interview with the students. And this one, in your fourth semester, you learn about the hospital pharmacy, how to prepare medication for the hospital pharmacy. We have a IV room in our classroom, and students in their fourth semester in basic IV, they learn about this as well. The last slide is information, contact information. Miss Andrea Ulmer, she's our advisor, Allied Health Advisor. That's the phone number. I'm sorry, I forgot the last 4 digit. Is 6051. That's Andrea's phone number, the email address, and my contact information. That's my office number and my email address. You can find it on the website as well. And I believe I'm done. And right now is the time if you have any questions. Morgan, you can unmute your microphone and ask me if you have any questions. And I believe we lost Victoria twice. I think she has a difficulty with the internet. Hopefully she can come back.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing great. I wanted to ask you, first I wanted to hear your presentation again, because I always learn things from you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But I also wanted to ask you about the special studies. I noticed in the catalog that there are special studies credits for 1 to 3 credits, I think they go for. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I would be interested in learning all that I can while I'm in the program.
I am not that much familiar with the special study. I have my colleague, Mrs. Bitar. If you can jump in, I don't know. What do you mean? Where did you see special study? Under our catalog or under Seminole State catalog?
Under the PTN listing of all the courses that the program offers. Mm-hmm. I saw that, it has the regular ones that we take, but then it has additional ones added.
Oh, you're talking about the general courses.
Well, it's it's in the, I'm not sure what you categorize them as, but they are listed. If you look at the, going to have the PTN 1121 and all the 1122 and all those standard courses that we take, that's part of the regular 4-semester program. But then it has some additional ones. I think they're called special study, but I can't recall exactly. But they just say 1 credit or 2 credits or 1 to 3 credits, but it doesn't say what they're for. So I thought perhaps the student and the program director, such as yourself or an instructor, would work with the student to choose certain areas that the student wanted to get additional training or studying in, but I wasn't sure.
Let me tell you about the future of the program because I'm working on it. One thing that when you graduate from the program, you take the national exam, you become certified technician, and right now I'm working with an agency that they offer the extra certification, and as soon as we be approved, I submitted the application to them and I'm waiting for their acceptance. If they accept it, not only you can sit down and take the national exam to become a certified technician, but also you become certified. For example, you take the aseptic technique and sterile preparation certification as well. And as soon as you take the exam, you pass it, you become certified in that area as well. But when you go back to the educational pathway or program, as I mentioned, anything that starts with PTN, those are core courses. And the core courses are blocked. We have a prerequisite. You have to follow the sequence, and that we talked about that before. But there are, for the certification, there are only 3 extra general courses that we want our student to take it. One of them is English 1, one of them is ANP or human biology, and the third one is a computer class. But I'm not sure that specialty area. I can pull up the educational plan and see if I can see it. But for example, there are area at the bottom of the educational pathway says, if you already took, for example, AMP 1 and 2, we can substitute it with human biology or AMP course. Yeah. Or if you don't want to take CGS 1060C and you want to take the higher level of computer class, which is CSG 2100, you can take that one and we can substitute 1060. And these are the things that I know, but be honest, I'm not sure about those specialty courses that you are talking about.
Oh, okay. Where with the screen that you have and what you're logged into, are you able to access the Seminole State College?
Yeah, definitely.
If you go to the Seminole State website and you go to programs or whatever category you have there at the top, and you look up the pharmacy technician program core option.
Yes, now I'm doing it. And Mrs. Bitar, if you know anything about the specialty courses that you can help us until I find that,
I'm thinking that those might be some elective courses that
yes,
Andrea, yeah, that would be Andrea, the program advisor, educational advisor. She would have a more in-depth knowledge, I think.
Okay, they're actually labeled PTN, so that's why I was wondering if they're
okay.
So then if you go to the courses that are offered.
Morgan, I have this. You're talking about this. This is for the pharmacy technician technical certificate.
Yes. And
where
then,
did you go to? Yeah, go ahead.
And then if you go down to the lower right-hand corner of your page there, where just above there, above
here.
Right there, where it says additional information, and it says pharmacy technology website. It's up a little right there. And then over on the side, the left sidebar, it will say
course listing.
Perhaps, yes, probably course listing.
Course listing. Mm-hmm.
And then go down all the way pretty much toward the bottom.
Mm-hmm. These are PTN courses.
Yes.
As Mrs.
Okay,
Bitar
it's not
said,
there now.
I call those extra courses outside of the PTN courses, I call them general education courses.
Oh, okay.
Or supplemental courses that you have to take to fill that 40 credit hours.
Okay,
But we are not asking for whatever course you decide to do it. We're asking for a specific course that is going to help you with the PTN courses.
Right. If you go up to the top where it says available for spring 2021, let's see, there has to be another way. Yeah, unclick that. Yes.
Not hiding anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
these are talking about, I can go back and look
if you go all the way down to the bottom, I wonder if they're there. Maybe they're not there anymore, but okay, I don't see them there. Then
if I go back to the educational plan, I'm gonna just type educational plan, or they call it educational pathway. Maybe we can find something here that you are referring to.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I wish I could remember exactly how I got to it, but I thought that might be.
This is, let me maximize this and
right,
see.
and it wasn't that, because we do have that, and I've been filling that out for you.
Yeah, I don't see any.
It was just one of the PTN class. Well, there were actually probably 4 of them that were offered, and some of them were like maybe one was a 1 credit and the next one was a 2 credit and so forth.
Oh, you're talking about the selected study.
Yes.
Selected study.
I'm sorry. What did
No, that's okay. Selected study courses are, I just give you example. So far, since 2015 that I'm running this program, I had 3 students, they joined our program, that they already had their certification. They already certified. One of them, he's still my student. He works in a hospital pharmacy, but he did not get his certification through the educational institution. He got it in a traditional way, that he hired by the employer, and he got his certification through them. And then he needed promotion, and he had to join the program to get his degree, be accepted by the State Board of Pharmacy. And because he already took, for example, that certification, back then you didn't need to show the training before 2020. Before January 1st of 2020, everybody could take that national exam. But right now, no, you cannot. You have to show that you have training program. You completed training program. And that's why we created those selected study courses for those students, for the unique students. Is not extra thing that we offer students. That's one reason behind it. The other 2 students, they came from another state, and sadly, they went to the program that was not accredited, was not approved by the State Board of Pharmacy of that state, and they wasted their money and their time. Because when they came to Florida, State Board of Pharmacy of Florida could not recognize those training programs that they already did. That's why they had to rejoin us, and they had to go through the program. And again, because those students, they already was certified, I had to create those selected study courses for them.
I see.
And then another thing that you might see, I know what are you talking about right now. You told me as soon as you said that, I can go back and look at the pharmacy technician again and tell you, no, I'm not going to do it by the courses. I show you, let me go back. Another one was due to COVID. As you know, back then you were not our students. When COVID-19 hit in spring, all of the clinical side was actually suspended. We could not, you're talking about these 3.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Those all of the clinical site, they could not accept any students, and we had to suspend all of their clinical rotation. And then we resumed them in summer, but because we had to put them somewhere that for the liability things that I'm sure you know more than me about those, we had to create this selected study for them. They had to re-register, and that way we could send them to the clinical site to finish their hours, and then later on we substitute this with the core courses. That's the story behind those. Those are not, but hopefully that you gave me a great idea. Hopefully in future I have those specialty courses that student they can take, and they can get extra credit, extra certifications, or it's kind of look like when you go to the pharmacy school, you finish it, you want to get certification in vaccination, you want to get certification in compounding, because or something like that. Hopefully later in future you're going to see them, but these three that you see here, that's a story behind them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that explanation. Because when I saw that, I thought, well, maybe there are some additional things I could take, maybe the third semester, fourth semester, where I could enhance my educational opportunity and learn more.
No, there are many. If you go to one of the governmental agencies that they oversee the training program, and they oversee the pharmacy technician scope of practice, there are so many specialty for the technicians as well. As I said, right now I had to take a certification to become certified aseptic technique. I had to take a certification to become certified in hazardous drug. I took those certifications as an extra. And I can put them in my, at the end of my title, that I have those certification as well.
Okay.
And in future, that's the hope that I have for this program in future. Very soon, aseptic technique, I already submitted my application to them, and hopefully they approve it. And by the time you get to that point, you are eligible for that certification as well.
Okay. So with those specialties and certifications, is there, how if the school isn't able to offer the training at that point, how does this person get the education prior to taking the exam?
You have to do the same thing that I did. What did I do to get those certifications? I signed up because right now at this point in state of Florida, nobody offers that. I had to register. I took the course through the Austin Community College, and I went to the Austin, and part of my certification was online, but part of it was hand-on practice. I traveled to Austin. I was there for 3 days. I did 3 days, compact, very busy 3 days of training program. And then at the end, I sat down and took the exam. And thanks God, I passed the exam. This is another way that you can do it as well. If by then, I'm hoping not, but if by then it doesn't happen, you can sign up for those agencies that they offer those certification as extra certification as well.
Okay. And sign up for those agencies, you're talking about other colleges, is that?
It might be other colleges. ASHP also offers the sterile preparation and aseptic technique certification. PTCE also offers that certification as well.
Okay, when I looked at those websites, as I recall, you can't join until you're already a pharmacy technician licensed.
That's the issue, I know.
Yeah,
you have to show them that you have, for example, for me, because I was an educator, I had to show them that I'm teaching and I have enough experience on teaching and to be able to take that course. And then I forgot, I did another certification. I'm an educator as well for the aseptic technique. That means not only I'm certified, but also I got a certification to be able to teach that aseptic technique as well. But all of them, as you said, requires you to show them that you already are the technician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As soon as you're done with the program, everything opens to you. You can take anything that you want.
Right. Right. It's just that once we start working, it's a little more difficult to arrange the schedule to get away for more classes.
And you know, as I told you, I remember you joined me in one of the information session. One thing that you can do to start doing it before you go to the workforce, you can take those certifications. You can take the course. It doesn't take that much, and finish them, because majority of these extra certification or extra specialty that you want to enhance and actually increase your opportunity of getting a better job and higher rate job, does not require to be experienced technician, required you to show them that you finished the training program only.
Oh, okay. So it's still not until after the fourth semester when I get.
Sadly,
okay. Yeah.
For example, as I said, for that national exam, you have to hit. None of my students right now, for example, you say, I'm ready right now. I want to take the national exam. When you go there, they don't allow you to take the national exam. You have to do it. I have to send them the letter that, yes, you finished the training program, that then I allow you to take the national exam.
Yeah, which is a good idea. That way we get qualified people coming out the other end, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you for that explanation.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Morgan, that's true in so many different healthcare professions. The certifications come after the formal education.
Okay, that's
So
good to know.
Yeah, it's not just specific to the pharmacy tech. I'm a nurse, and the certifications that I received was after the RN licensure exam.
Okay.
Depending on what specialty that you like to go into.
Right. And I was just wondering, for instance, when in graduate programs in college, when you're taking a master's, or there are additional class specialty sorts of courses that the student can take that are not part of the regular curriculum. I didn't know when I saw this selected studies in pharmacy technician listing, whether that was what that was.
Morgan, depends on what's your goal right now. If you want, for example, you want to continue because some of my students, they go and join the workforce, but some of them, they want to continue their education. As I said so many times, for now, at this point, I have 3 of my students, they are at pharmacy school. They finished the program, they finished all of the prerequisite for the farm school, and they are at the farm school. But I have many of our students, they joined our health science, bachelor in health science. And you can take some of those courses depends on which track do you want to do. You can pick one, depends on the heaviness of the courses that we offer. For us, it's not that much heavy, it's not that much difficult. You can take here and there, take one of them as well. And by the time you graduate, you finish the training program with us, you're already done with some of the courses toward the health science, bachelor in health science as well.
That's an excellent idea. I'm not that familiar with the health science program offerings.
I can show you. Let me go back. The health science, again, you just go to the Seminole State homepage and just check for health science.
Okay.
And as I said, there are, Mrs. Betar, please correct me. There are, I believe, 6 tracks in health science that we offer. I type healthcare. In bachelor in health science, there are 6 tracks that you can pick them. And depends on which one of those tracks that you pick, you can start. These are, where is the tracks?
Go up.
Health science is not this one?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Catalog?
No, go back down to related programs there.
Related programs.
Allied Health Track Pharmacy Pathway. I'm not sure if that's it.
Yeah, I think it's here. The catalog for the health science, bachelor in health science. And these are the special area.
Right there.
These are the special area that you can just make an appointment. Andrea, she's not covering this. You have to contact the health science advisor, and just talk to them. And depends on which track you are interested, just pick here and there, pick one of their courses that match your schedule. And then by the time you graduate from here, as I said, many of my students, they do something like that. And some of them, actually, one of them, she hired by Walgreens when she was in her clinical. She was an excellent student, and then she continued in our health science. And as soon as you finished her bachelor degree, she got a great job. I don't know which track she was taking. I think it was this one, because I told her, she talked to me and I said, management right now is one of the top area that you can get into, because be honest, it's so expensive for the employer to ask the pharmacist to become a manager. That's why they save some money if they find somebody else with the proper education to be able to run their store, to do the management part of it. And she took this and she hired by another company with a salary base, and she's so happy. And I told her, you're one of the luckiest people and hardworking students that I know. Those are another idea that you can take. That's why I tell my students, never ever stop at the technician level. Try to enhance your education, because gradually you're gonna see it. There are more need for degree, more need for higher degree education to be able to find a better job.
Right. Well, and as you know, I have a Bachelor of Science in microbiology already, but I was wondering if there's something that would specifically apply in the pharmacy technician realm.
As I said, this track, the healthcare management and professional service specialist, is the one that it matches the most with the scope of practice of pharmacy technician. That way, you can, as soon as you get that management degree, you can go and manage the hospital or go to the corporate office and work with the corporate office directly instead of working in retail or hospital pharmacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one is the one that matches, as I said, matches the most with our students.
Okay, well, that's very helpful. Thank you both for that information.
You're welcome.
Very much.
You're welcome. Let me stop sharing.
Well, I feel a little bad having you go through this whole introduction to the program again when you've done it already with other students, and you know I'm already one of your students. So
it's always a joy to have you.
Well,
that shows how passionate you are about your goal, and I'm so glad that I'm so excited to have you next semester in my class.
I'm looking forward to it also very much. I already have the book. I already glanced through it.
I contacted the bookstore. They said they just changed their shelf for the fall, and Monday they're gonna start ordering the new book for the spring.
Oh, good.
I contacted them.
Good, great. Because I did get your pharmacy book. I just haven't gotten the other two. So, yeah.
No, you're going to get it, and they are working on it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, both of you. I really do appreciate your information and your help.
You're welcome.
And I will be talking with you soon, I hope.
Take care.
You're welcome. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sue, stop recording.
I'm looking for it. Give me 1 second.
That student, the other one, I think she had